Hello and welcome to the Salem Capitals Basketball.com podcast. My name is Ryan Goff, and I am excited to be the play-by-play voice for the next season of Capitals Hoops starting March of 2025. The Salem Capitals are a professional basketball team in Oregon's capital city and are driven by hashtag community culture. If you're new to the Capitals, or one of our biggest fans, our hope with this podcast is to give you more of a glimpse into the stories of some of your favorite Capitals players, introduce you to some new faces, and help you stay in touch with the organization during the off-season and season alike. I am eager to introduce you to our guest in just a moment, and I promise it is a good one. But before I do, please know you can get your season tickets for the upcoming year right now at salemcapitalsbasketball.com. There are some exciting changes coming to the Salem Armory, which is by the Oregon Fairgrounds and continues to be the home of the Capitals, the best game day atmosphere in the basketball league. Part of our mission is affordable family fun, and season tickets are just that. There are at least 12 home games, so get your tickets now. Plus, if you're part of the Salem area business community, sponsorships are still available for the 2025 season. All of that is available right now at salemcapitalsbasketball.com. All right, our premier guest is none other than Joseph Allen Billinger, or who you may know best as AB3. A former TBL All-Star, Allen shares about stories from his family, his teammates, and road games driving with his coach. We start, though, with a glimpse into how a Midwest kid like Allen found himself in Oregon in the first place.
So in 2020, I graduated college in 2019, and then in the winter of 2020, LinkedIn, it's a good app. LinkedIn, I got a job offer out in Oregon. I had to go to headquarters in Indianapolis, Indiana, for 6 months, and then in the summer of 2020, they relocated me to Oregon.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
I'm curious, as you we're going to get into like the basketball, especially the Capitals basketball, right?
No doubt.
But as you kind of look at like having so much success with the Capitals, being an all-star selection for the Capitals, right? And then you think about like you got to Oregon because it happened to be a relocation.
Yeah.
How much do you buy into things like fate and right place, right time?
That's a great question. Yeah, I am a big believer in that. You know, you're supposed to be somewhere you're supposed to be at. And timing too. I mean, I went during COVID, so I didn't play basketball when I first came to Oregon. Basically the whole year I was just working. Actually, outside of my full-time job, I got another job at Target just because I had time. So I think it was just meant to be.
That's interesting. What was the job?
My job was in outside sales.
Okay.
So I worked in the pneumatic and automation world. A lot of people don't really know what that is. I didn't know what it was before I got the job, but it was actually a really good job. It taught me a lot of things just from a sales perspective. And then, like I said, it was my first big boy job. It was fun. It was definitely a fun time.
How are sales and basketball related?
Ooh, how are they related? I think the first correlation I would make between sales and basketball is that you got to be a go-getter. You got to be kind of personally motivated in both areas. Like in sales, you got to go hustle to get the sale, close the sale. Same with basketball. You got to work to get meet in the gym. Say you want the results. You got to put the time in. And both are rewarding that way. You know, I think both of them, if you do put in hard work, you will be rewarded with good results.
Mm-hmm. Which one are you better at, sales or basketball?
Man, you know, I can't answer that. I've let the people answer that one.
I'm going to guess that if you're as good at sales as you are at basketball, then imagine that you're really good at sales. So.
I'm pretty decent. I've had a couple different sales jobs, done pretty well with them. So yeah, and it's fun. I mean, I get to compete. That's another reason I like sales.
Right.
I get to compete in that area. Like I said, because it can be a dog-eat-dog world. But you still have a team. You know, it's not just you out there. You still have a team. You still have an office. Same with basketball. You still got teammates. You still got plays to run, things to execute. But it's also individually based. You can help carry the team in that way. So
it's intriguing, like the competitive side of sales. Yeah, I was a salesperson for a long time, and I worked in retail. You had 20 or so people in that building, so you go in the back and there's all the numbers on the board. And I remember there were guys who had that competitive drive to be at the top of the board.
Absolutely.
It sounds like that kind of resonates in a way with you.
Yeah, absolutely. I think I would call myself the ultimate competitor. Sales, basketball, chess, checkers, Mario Kart. Yeah, you name it. I want to compete in it for sure.
I feel like there's some truth in chess, checkers, and Mario Kart. Are these some hobbies of yours?
Mario Kart, I play with somebody. He's okay. He's pretty good. But chess and checkers, I'm nice in. Chess and
Okay.
checkers, I'm pretty nice in.
Okay.
So.
Who's your character in Mario Kart?
Ooh, my go-to Luigi.
Okay.
Yeah,
All right. I'm a Koopa Troopa guy.
I like
Yeah.
him. Koopa Troopa's
Original
nice.
from the
Yeah,
original
that
game
is
too.
he is
So
original. That is the
yeah.
OG guy.
How old are you?
How old do you think I am?
See, I think I did a little background, and I know when you played D2 basketball.
Okay.
So I'm gonna go 29.
Oh, good. I'm 27.
Okay. All right. All
Yeah.
right. So I was in the ballpark at
He was in the
least.
ballpark.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As you describe what it's like to be a TBL basketball player and still having just kind of handle life, right? What do you tell people about that? What's the glimpse inside that process?
That's a great question. I mean, it's you can control what you can control. That's one of my biggest thought process model to try to go off of. Like I said, I did have a job outside sales even when I joined Salem. So I didn't really stop working like in the corporate world until last year. But I transitioned. Like I said, I don't only play basketball. So I also train. Like I train kids. I also do leadership coaching. So in that regard, from like being an entrepreneur, I guess. So I'm thankful for Salem the basketball because that allowed me to actually do what I want to do and not do what I have to do. Like I said, to make an income from a corporate perspective. Not saying something wrong with that industry or anything, but just for me, my happiness, like I just love to be entrepreneur mindset, and yeah, it's given me that platform and opportunity to do so.
Yeah.
So I think from day in the life with that, again, back to being a go getter.
Right.
You just got to do what you got to do to get done.
So yeah, in your case, you're not finding that supplemental stuff from the corporate world, but you're into leadership and you're into training youth in basketball, I assume, right?
Yes, correct.
Okay. So why did you latch on in the entrepreneurial world to leadership? Like, why do you think leadership is something that you need to teach?
Yeah, that's man. Wow. I just think leadership is so important from a standpoint of I think you can't lead other people until you lead yourself. So I think we have more people focused on leading themselves, then we can have better leaders. Because I don't think I'm a big component of don't tell somebody to do something if you're not willing to do it. So that's for starters. And then I think too, just from being an example, you can be a vocal leader like on a basketball court. We have vocal leaders. We have people who lead by example. And neither one of them are wrong. But just being full-fledged into what leadership style you are, it just helps other people. And that's my big thing. I said, helping the youth, helping other people have confidence in themselves. I think that's what leadership, and instill belief. I think that's the biggest thing you can do with other human beings is help instill belief into them. So
yeah. So in this community, Capitals community culture, right? It's their big staple about making sure that you all have an impact in the community as the community supports you. When you look at how you train the youth, how you interact with the youth, how does that show up? The community culture kind of coming from the organization through you as players.
Yeah, that's what Jason Conrad does a great job of is finding guys who not only like I said play basketball and care about basketball, but care about people in the sense of like I said help others out. It really can be that simple. Holding the door for somebody, they might be having a bad day. You just never know what goes on in other people's lives. So just having that standpoint, instead of when I train the kids, I know they're next up. You see their faces when we shake their hands before the game, even after the game. If we lose, they're still so excited to see us, to talk to us. We give our jerseys out to kids, and like it was one kid in the hoopla I gave my jersey to, and like it just made his whole entire day. His dad shot me a text, and like so those moments sometimes can be bigger than actually playing on the court. Just to be honest, because it gives you a bigger picture that it's not just basketball. Like I said, it is the community aspect to it. And with the community backing you, you can take it as far as you want to. So
attending a Salem Capitals game is so much fun. 2025 season tickets are on sale now at salemcapitalsbasketball.com and start at $12 per game. Join the Capitals this March through May as they make another run toward the playoffs next June. All home games are at the Salem Armory, and be sure to look for specialty seating options like the Ox Box table or VIP behind the bench seats. Get your 2023 Salem Capitals season tickets right now at salemcapitalsbasketball.com. You mentioned Hoopla. I saw some great pictures out of Hoopla. You obviously talk about that moment. For someone who has never seen Hoopla, how would you describe it to them?
Oh my gosh. So like I said, I'm from the Midwest, so it's a lot of basketball, a lot of good basketball out there. You can go to any park, find good runs. But out here, Hoopla, I never seen anything like it. I mean, from a 3-on-3 standpoint, even just from a basketball tournament perspective, it's major. Yeah, it's major. And it's so much fun. Like, it really is. Like I said, the community's out there. We're talking about community. All the communities out there. And now that Salem Capitals have a presence, when we play, there's a lot of people on the street watching us. So that's a humbling experience. And people compete at the hoopla. Like a lot of locals, they've been wanting to win hoopla, growing up as kids. So like they're competing hard. It's families, playing together, brothers playing together, teammates playing together. So it's so many different types of groups of people, and they're to compete and have fun. So yeah, I enjoy hoopla quite a bit.
Who was on your team this year, and how did y'all do?
On my team this year, I had Jason Conrad. Shout out Damo. Who else did I have? Oh, a friend of mine named Brenton Ennis. And we made it to the Final Four, I believe. Yep, and lost to another former teammate, Kyler Kelly. So I guess if we're going to lose to somebody, we'll lose to Salem Capital.
You kind of keep it in the family, at
least.
Exactly.
We'll keep it in the family, man.
Right. Yeah, it's a good story. You can say top 2, top 4, that kind of thing.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, so I was reading about your experience with the Capitals. You become an all-star. I mentioned that earlier. I read some of the descriptions of how that moment felt to find out you're an all-star, to get to represent the Capitals. But now you're a few years removed from it, right? So as you reflect on it, how does it feel?
I mean, humbled, blessed, and I think it also makes you want to chase that again. You reach, a certain point, and that wasn't my goal even going into the season, really. I mean, my goal was just to get better. Like we're talking about, just hard work, being disciplined. I put a lot of work in the off season before that All-Star year, and so I knew why I wanted to do it. So I wanted to be a better basketball player, but also be better so our team could be better. And the result of that was becoming an all-star. So I reflect on it now, an opportunity to travel to the East Coast and meet other guys in the league, just as talented, just as good, and just see, where I'm at with them personally. And I feel like I'm at the same level as them. So, yeah, I mean, it's something like I've made TBL second team West, so next season I want to chase it again.
Do you stay in touch with anyone from the All-Star game?
Do I? No, I don't.
Okay. I didn't know if that's one of those things that comes out of an all-star trip, right? Is people kind of connect and whatnot, but I didn't know if that was the case.
It was short-lived. I say probably a couple months afterwards we stayed in touch, but then, I mean, with the TBL, just the league itself, people aren't in the same, they're not in this TBL anymore.
Yeah.
So I think it's just more difficult to stay in touch that way.
Yeah, that's awesome. I got to watch you play 3 games last year, twice as a broadcaster, and I was there as a fan. And you talked about that leadership quality earlier and how it impacts your life outside of basketball, but it's still relevant to basketball, right?
Absolutely.
How do you see, going into the 2025 season, your role as a leader continuing to evolve? What do you want to bring into this next season?
That's something I've definitely been thinking about. Like I said, my first year I played with Salem, I was not like the leader, the go-to guy. So I learned, we had a lot of veterans on the team. So I learned a lot from them. And took that, like I said, to the second season where I was an all-star. And I feel like that season I led more so by example than being vocal. Last season, I think I had to step up in the role of being more vocal to the guys. And then really, 2025, I feel like I had to be a little more demanding. When it comes, like I said, demanding for myself, I got to leave myself in that area first. But expectation for guys. I mean, we all want the same common goal. So I think from being a leader, you have to help the team reach that common goal. And I think I have to try different ways with different guys to get that out of us. So.
It's fun to talk to professionals because you go from playing youth basketball, high school, college, but your life has continued in competitive hoops to this point, right? And that's cool because there's an extra, your case, how old you are, there's an extra 4 or 5 years of experience that maybe most guys never experience. When did you realize, though, you were good at basketball? Like, when was it, oh my gosh, this is my thing?
I'd probably say my junior year of high school. That's probably when I realized. I was a freshman in high school. I started varsity. But I think the only reason I started because I can dribble with both hands. So that wasn't really the indicator that I was good. But in my junior year, we played I played AAU against some talented guys, and I think half about 50% is like doing the work, being in the gym, getting your reps up, but really the other 50% is your confidence. You can do all the other stuff, but if you're not confident doing on the court, it's kind of irrelevant. So my junior year, I just want to develop some confidence in myself that I am skilled. I can play with guys, quote unquote, at a high level. And then from that standpoint, it just took off into my confidence. And yeah, like whoever your name is, whatever your name is, it doesn't matter to me until we see each other face to face on the basketball court. Then we'll duke it out there.
We're talking a little bit about youth. We're talking about high school. So I guess describe your hometown. What's that place like?
Carbondale, Illinois. Yeah, shout out 618, man. But yeah, it's a small town, like 25,000 people probably. SI University is there, so it was a big college town. But yeah, I mean, back in the Midwest too, the weather, it's not really, we don't have mountains. We don't have, a lot of things to do outside really. It's humid, so you don't want to be outside when it's hot. So the best place to be is the gym. Basketball was year round for me. My friends, that's something we gravitated towards. And yeah, my hometown, I mean, that's what made me who I am from a standpoint, it's very diverse. So I think that helped me too with just being out here with my people skills. So.
And I remember you earlier talking about you could find a game in a lot of different places. You mentioned the gym, but like, do you have a spot that you remember playing just even outdoors and kind of in the fresh air?
Yeah, I do. It's actually a midnight run, we used to call it. This place called the Reserves. We used to go in the summertime, midnight, and play from like 12 a.m. to 2 a.m. Yeah, that's just what we did. We used to like get ready for that. And that was so much fun. Like I said, you're outside, lights are on, people got the car headlights on. Like, I mean, it was the real deal. So yeah, I'm glad you brought that up because I'm having some memories about that.
Yeah, how old were you about then?
I was 18.
Wow.
Yeah, 17, 18.
That's a scene from a movie with the car lights and everything like
yeah,
that.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, that was a pretty dope experience.
I want to do some quick hits, okay? Because the Capitals do a great job with asking you some questionnaire type questions, putting them on the website. Fans can go see.
Heck yeah.
Strawberry Twizzlers, huh?
Yes.
Really?
Yes. And if anybody says anything about cherry Twizzlers, don't talk to them.
Okay. What if I was a cherry Twizzlers guy? The pull aparts, man. Have you ever seen the pull and peel Twizzlers?
Yeah. See, but that's what society is today. We're all about convenience. We got to work for stuff, man.
Right.
I got to work for it.
My teeth are trying to fight through a regular Standard Twizzler.
That's what I'm saying.
Pull and peel.
Oh man, the pull and peel is too easy.
Okay. Too easy. You do realize though, when you're bashing on cherry, and we live in Salem, cherries are a big deal here. From the PR standpoint, I got to help you out.
You're right. Help me out.
Okay, but not red vines.
Not red vines. I'm okay with knockoffs. I have no problem with that. I can do red vines. Like I said, if you're asking me, I'm gonna say the Twizzlers, strawberry Twizzlers.
You also said the funniest one on the team is Coach Kev. What's
Yes.
the funniest thing you can recollect in the moment about Coach Kev?
Oh man. I don't know if it's like one moment, but it's an accumulation of moments. He's just never wrong. Like coach, and he's coach. That's probably why he coached. You feel me? He got the experience. He's just never wrong. Yeah.
No matter when he's wrong, he's never wrong.
No, me and him will have discussions for like 15 minutes about the same topic. And then it just ends up, you know what? I guess we just don't see eye to eye.
So is it so stubborn that like you can tell him, he'll tell you the sky is purple. You'll be like, Coach, it's not purple. It's blue. And he'll be like, no, by the time that 15 minutes is up, the sky is purple.
Yeah, I'll give him that. He could be in sales. Really, that's who should be in sales.
You
Coach
read
Kev.
my mind. I thought that's exactly. I was like, you and Coach could have a sell-off if you needed to.
Man, that might last a long time.
Yeah. Have you played chess against him?
No, I think he's scared to play me in chess.
I was gonna say maybe he doesn't take on fights he can't win.
But you know what? If I'm gonna say other thing about Coach, though, I'm gonna tell him he has beat me in a couple things. He beat me in dominoes. He got the one-on-one record against us in basketball. I think that's about it. I ain't gonna say too much. I think that's about it.
Now, on the other side of Coach, what attributes about him do you admire the most?
Wow. Yeah, me and Coach, we got a good relationship. We definitely developed over the last 3 years. What things do I admire about him? I mean, like I said, back to him not being wrong, he is true to what he says. And back to also the thing we've been talking about already with helping people, I think he does generally want to help. Even though his demeanor can be, if you don't know him, it might be a little standoffish, but truthfully, like he really does want to help. And I really admire that about him because it's genuine with Coach. So,
Yeah. You said your parents are your hero.
mhm.
Why is that?
Like I said, I think hindsight is 2020. The older I get, the more I understand about life, even though I'm still young. But the more I understand it a little bit more, so knowing like the sacrifices they made for me to be where I'm at now today, knowing what the values and ethics that they instilled in me, like I'm just so grateful that I have that foundation and the support from both of them. So yeah, I couldn't ask for better parents.
Do you have a family?
No, I don't. I
Okay.
have no wife, no
Do you
kids.
aspire to have kids?
Yeah, I do.
Okay.
Yeah, I want to have some mini me's.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Uh,
Because you talk about like the impact they've had. You talk about working with youth
mhm.
now. So, as you look at like what you want to be as a father, even like,
Yeah,
are there things that you're kind of already set in your mind of how you want to approach that life when and if it happens?
yeah, 100%. I think that's part of the reason why I'm trying to wait, so I can have some more, concrete values, what I want to instill. Um, so yeah, I'm just trying to be patient on that. I don't think it's no rush for me personally.
Sure.
Uh, but yeah, definitely some qualities and traits. Like see, for my dad especially, like he's a blue collar hard work. And that's what every time I went to the gym, I left the house, he would just tell me, have fun, work hard. Like those only two, like that's ingrained in my head, like
Yeah.
just those two things. Like I said, hindsight 2020, like those actually mean a lot if you really think about them and do them.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Back in the day, was it one of those, all right, dad, yeah, but now it's just like, it was
Oh, of
good old guy
course.
advice.
Yeah. My dad, oh my gosh. I'm like, I heard you, like I heard you say it. But like I said, really hearing him
Yeah.
and listening, I'm like, you know what? I'm glad he always repeated it. So it is ingrained in me.
Are your parents still
So
around?
yeah, yep,
Okay.
it's still in Carbondale, Illinois.
Okay.
My mom comes out to Oregon every Mother's Day, so I'm lucky for that. She gets to see me play, and thankful for Salem, we've had every Mother's Day we have home games. So yeah, so that's been awesome. I play pretty well on Mother's Day
It's
weekend.
in your contract now,
Yeah,
right? We should name it the AB3 Mother's Day
that's
game.
hey,
Mother's Day special.
I might talk to people about that
Name it after your mom.
after my
Okay.
mom.
All
See,
right.
nice, nice.
I'll talk to the decision
See,
makers on
yeah,
that.
I'm
Got
happy
your
to do
back.
your thing.
Last one I saw from just looking at your Instagram, looking at your bio. Um, you talked about making that D2 tournament,
Mm,
and I work outside of Capitals in Division 3 athletics, and I
okay,
know how hard it is to make the Division 3 tournament. I imagine it's similar in D2, but
absolutely.
what was it about that experience that really like latched onto you?
So I think that you asked me when did I know I became like a good basketball player? It's in my junior year of high school. I don't think I think from a hooper standpoint, I think it's different between a hooper and a basketball player. I didn't become like a good basketball player until my junior senior year of college at Drury University where I made the tournament. And that experience, like I said, making the tournament, it really embodied team culture, uh, it embodied commitment, sacrifice. So like it was some big values that it embodied to make that because you can't just make it off the whim. Well, everybody's trying to do that. So like you got to put the time in the off season. You got to be committed to, like, say, what the team's trying to do. You got to make sacrifices in college. You want to do fun things, but to make the tournament that is fun, you got to make the sacrifice to do so.
Yeah, how'd you do?
We lost the first round both
Okay,
years.
okay. It's still hard to get there.
It
I just
is.
want to
It
like
is.
for anyone listening, anyone watching, like you see the Division 1 tournament on TV, and it seems like it's easy to look at everyone who makes the field and go, "Oh, well, there's so many teams who make it. There's so many more teams who don't," and that
Exactly.
scales on down in all the divisions, right?
Hmm.
So I think it's worth pointing out to the audience, like it is hard to make the D2 tournament.
Yeah, it's extremely hard. Like I said, it takes a lot. It's consistent. That's a word I haven't said yet. You got to be consistent, like in doing so,
Yeah.
and that's not an easy thing to do.
All right, best moment from your last Capitals season.
Best moment from the last Capital season. Let's see. It's always good when we beat Seattle. I'm not gonna lie. Like I love playing in Seattle. It's always good to beat them. We beat them at their place, and that drive. I mean, I think it's one of the longest drives we have. So going home with a win from there, that's always great. Like that always feels good. It
Yeah.
always does.
What's the drive like? Like road trips in the TBL. Like,
Yeah.
what's it like to go on those longer road trips?
I only speak for myself because only one person I drive with. So I only drive with Coach.
Okay.
Um, so, and if he's listening, I'm gonna be real with you, Coach. I probably heard all your stories.
We're starting to go around.
I still love hearing them though. I do still love hearing them, but they're fun though. I mean, really, like so you get to learn about each other.
Yeah.
You get that time, that personable time, learn about each other, and then like I said, you get to prepare mentally for the game. So
Yeah. Have you let them know you've heard one of the stories already? Or you're like, Coach, you already told this one, or do you just kind of let them go?
I try to be like nice about it. I try to like interject and know like, hey, I know you about to say this.
All of a sudden, you start just mirroring him.
Yeah,
It'd
I
be
just
great.
mirror them. Yeah,
Great.
yeah.
What are you looking forward to in the 2025 Capitals season?
Man, a lot of guys. So this is the first off season. I feel like as a unit, we've been like in the gym together, like people playing around league up in Beaverton together. It's a men's league at the Pack we've been playing in. People have been in the gym, getting shots up in the weight room. So I think this first season, we're like the commitment from the off season, like we're doing it as a whole. So I'm actually really excited to see how that translates into, like I said, when we come to February, March, because I think with the TBL being such a short season, you can't play your best basketball like late. You want to, but you really should be playing it early on and continue that for the next 2 months, 3 months.
Yeah, what I'm hearing you saying is like you don't have much warm up time, right? You have to win those first weekend games
Yeah, they're
in order.
important. Yeah, they matter, and we found it out this season with seeding and everything. Like those games matter.
Yeah.
If you think they don't, then you can be outside looking in, or you have to play a game and a half, 2 games in the same day. Like so all those games matter.
You absolutely read my mind. How weird was it to finish a game, have a little bit of rest, and then go play a full game against a really good team?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's TBL's finest. Um, like I said, from a hooper standpoint, so if you love basketball, I mean, you always want to play as much as you can. So like that had me going, and it was against two teams who compete. Like Wenatchee's a team that I respect them, like they compete.
Yeah.
And to do that at a neutral site, fair. I think it was fair. So that was great. I'm glad we took care of that business. And then Seattle, we had a chance. But yeah, I would be lying if I said we weren't tired in that Seattle game. But like I said, we do love to play basketball.
It's gotta be hard. Next time, just have them meet you outside about midnight, and then you guys can play with the headlights and everything like that.
Good to go.
What's something that I didn't ask that you want to add?
My guys, we play the PS5. Like from a hobby standpoint, some hobbies. We have some groups that I play the game system with.
Right. What games?
2K, Call of Duty. A lot of people are now NCAA football. That hasn't been out for the last 10 years.
Right.
So a lot of people are playing that. That's about all the games I play. And then, TV shows. I love anime.
Oh, really?
Which is yeah, it's crazy. You would not think that about me at all.
Well, I'm not an anime guy, and since the pandemic started, lockdown started, I met a whole bunch of folks in the internet world just because I started broadcasting online. So I met a whole bunch of people who were starting to do that too. And the amount of people who watch anime as someone who never has,
Right.
who never really had an interest. Even my kids have an interest in watching anime, and I never have.
Okay.
So my strength is I'm always curious about why people like what they like.
Right.
So I could talk to you all day about anime because you're passionate about it.
Right.
But I have no like frame of reference for anime.
I see.
So like give us, how like anime kind of took a soft spot in your heart.
For sure, because I was saying, but I had no interest in it. And like high school, college, people tell me, you should watch this, you should watch that. I'm like, I play the video game and I watch SportsCenter. Like I don't really have interest in doing so. Like I said, after COVID happened, everything in sports weren't going on. So recommendations, Naruto was the first one I started watching. And like excluding like the graphics and like the fight scenes, all that stuff, like the Japanese culture, like the principles they actually instill, like in the animation, is like pretty legit.
Interesting.
Yeah, and that was interesting to me too. Like I said, I'm big on personal growth, leadership, and like that. Those type of values are instilled in the animation. So I find it's really good storylines. Like they don't really skip over that type of stuff. It's not just cartoon drawn, and like they actually have like meanings behind like why they're doing the things they're doing. So I think that's pretty neat in anime.
We're gonna have an episode of this podcast with Damo. What's your best Damo story?
Dang, you asked me some good ones, man. That was my best Damo story. Polo. So we're in a game. So Damo played volleyball. I don't think a lot of us have seen him play volleyball, but a lot of people, when I talk to him, they speak highly of him, like in the volleyball world. And he can jump. Like I've seen him jump, dunk, but it was in game. I don't know if he had overbody experience or if he was just like, yeah, I'm gonna show everybody my bounce. But he on his polo underneath the jersey. This is a real game. He just like off the vert windmill, dunked it, And he was like just as surprised as everybody else was, and seeing his face being just surprised. I'm like, did you know you could do that? Like, would you plan on doing that? So still to this day, I don't know what his answer is, if that was like on purpose or if he just was in the moment and did it. But yeah, that's my best Damo story.
Has he done it again?
No.
Well, that might be your answer right there, right there. So, pleasure. Thanks.
Awesome.
Appreciate
you, man.
Big thanks to our first guest, AB3, and a big thanks to you for listening. Please subscribe to our podcast feed to get new episodes easily, including our next one with fan favorite, Damo Lawrence. Until then, goodbye for now, and go Capitals.